Hello, this is Pat Walker at Mission Winners doing an overview of the ETFs. Why do we do this? We like to systematize things at Mission Winners, and by so doing, looking at the ETFs, we have a better understanding of where there's strength to potentially buy stuff or where there's weakness to potentially avoid areas. First one, genomic revolution. Little heads up, this is the 50-day. The green is the 50-day. The purple is the 200-day. Yellow is the 8 EMA. Blue is the 21 EMA. The air is better above the 50-day. The air is better above the 200-day. Just simple to remember. What does this tell you? Stocks in this group, leave them alone. Innovation. This was a real leader last year, okay? And since then, it has lost some strength. Started to lift again and has pulled back below the 200-day, and it did it on fairly heavy volume on Thursday. Until this starts lifting above the 200-day, I'd be cautious with it. And you can Google ARKK and find out what are their top 10 holdings. It's like, maybe these are things I need to stay away from. There you go. Systematizing. Next generation internet, below the 200-day also. This needs to start showing some strength. These right here, what do they tell us? Kind of got to be careful with technology. There you go. Biotechnology's hanging in there. That's constructive. Look at that. It's above the moving average. Biotech, okay? Cloud computing is still good, but it did lose a little bit of strength this past week. Cloud computing, technology, energy. In 1 second, what does this tell you? Stay away from energy. Done. You don't have to overthink it. Well, maybe it's going to bounce. Why? Why play the maybe game? Move on. It's done. Could it change? Sure, and it will change, and eventually it will be a leading group again. But for right now, why not deploy our energies and our assets in areas that provide better opportunity? Dow Jones Internet, still strong, just a little bit below the 21 EMA, technology related. Okay, IBD 50, lagging, red flag. Gold miners. What does this tell you? The 200 days fallen. There's nothing to do with it for right now. Leave it alone. The air is better above the 50-day. The air is better above the 200-day. Stick with it. Junior gold miners. You'll choke on this. Leave it alone. Gold, another one. Gold, below the moving averages. Until it lifts above these, leave it alone. Cybersecurity, still hanging in there okay, but showed a little bit of weakness this past week. Technology, biotechnology, hanging in there. Possibly this one will lift above that line. Until it does, gotta wait. It's like, oh, it's going to go. Let it tell you. Let it tell you it's going. Online retail has lost, related to Amazon, etc., has lost some strength. Could have formed a cup and a handle, and maybe it still will. But right now, looking at it, what's it say? Be careful with online retailing. North American technology is still hanging in here. All right? So you can sit there and say, I'm going to go in and see what are the top 10 holdings in IGV, Idaho Victors, the ticker symbol right there, and see what they own because it's hanging in fairly well. There you go. Now you've got potential strength. Medical, hanging in there above the moving averages. IHI. Mid-cap, losing its strength. Look at this. It's falling. Leave it alone. Home builders, losing its strength. Leave it alone. This owns a lot of the max list stocks. IVW. Look at that. Which is why we've been involved in a lot of these max list stocks and had good runs. Airlines. Things been falling for a while. What's it tell you? Stay away from the airlines. Just looking at this could have saved you a lot of pain, heartache, and money. Leave it alone. Regional banking's lagging and has been lagging. Leave it alone. Mid-cap loses that neckline right in here. That line right there, that's a negative. It's below a falling 50-day. Remember this. There's better above the 50-day and not as good below the 50-day, and definitely not as good below the falling 50-day. Move on. Oil services, same situation. Nothing going on here, folks, which is why at Mission Winners, we haven't owned any oil services stocks for a while. There you go. Online retail, this is heavy like in things like Amazon, lifted, fell back here a little bit below the 50-day. It'll be interesting to see if it loses the 200-day. What does that tell you? Be a little careful with online retailing. There you go. Software. What does this say? Be careful with software. QLD, NASDAQ 100, still going up, but lost a little bit of strength. Still above the rising 21 EMA, the blue line, but it's lost a little bit of strength on slightly heavier volume. Have to watch that. Don't get sloppy. Same thing with QQQ. Cloud computing, it's hanging in there. Look at that. SKYY. You could go online and find out what are their top 10 holdings and see if there's anything good. But I do stress the M in mission winners market. Until the market starts to improve, be cautious overall with everything. Silver, nothing. It's tarnished. Steel, nothing. Rusting. Okay, I'll stop with that. A little bit of dad humor for us. How about that? My kids would just shake their heads. SMH, technology, needs to show some life. Nothing going on there. Leverage or another semiconductor, nothing there. Leave it alone. Spiders, still above the rising 21 EMA. S&P 500. We don't want to lose in that. And there was a slight pickup in volume on Friday. A lot of the leading sectors got hit fairly hard. Got to be cautious with that. The leveraged SSO, still above the 21 EMA, falling on a slight pickup in volume. Another one, don't want to lose that. Solar, what does this tell you? In 1 second, it says, I ain't going to buy any solar stocks. I'm not going to look at any solar stocks. You now know more than most people. There you go. Small cap, another small cap like IWM. What is the leveraged one? What does this say? And what has it been saying? We've said this every week. Stay away from the small cap. There you go. Oil, it's hanging in there. A little choppy up here, but it is hanging in there. That's decent to see. Aerospace and defense, lost the moving averages, nothing to do with it. Biotechnology, another biotech ETF. What does this say? I'm going to think it's below the 200-day, it's below the 21, it's below the 8, it's below the falling 50-day. Yeah, move on. There's nothing there. Home builder, it's hanging in there kind of. It was really strong for a long time, but it's lost some strength here till this starts showing life. I'll say it again. The air is better above the rising 50-day. All right? Just something to put in the bottom of or the back of your head. Just know it. We're about done here. Materials. How do you build things with materials? Materials lagging. 50-day rolling over. Be careful with it. Technology. Still hanging in there. That's predominantly all we own is technology stuff. That's it. And we've peeled way back. Why? Because the price action's telling us to. Oil and gas exploration. Another oil and gas. Look at this thing. And it's been dropping like our hard rock for a while. Leave it alone. Communications, on the other side, hanging in. XLC. Right there. Energy, another thing. Another energy-related ETF. What's it telling you? Leave it alone. Financials, below the falling 50-day. Be careful with it. Industrials, needs to start lifting back above the 50-day. Fell on fairly heavy volume Friday. Be careful with that. Consumer staples, hanging in there. What are consumer staples? They're called things that people need no matter what's going on with the economy. They're defensive issues. And it's hanging in there. See that? Kind of a defensive play. Consumer staples, something to consider. Utilities picking up. What's utilities? It's interest rate related. It's also defensive related. See the theme? Consumer discretionary. It's hanging in there. Start to fall a little bit. All right. Still decent though. Defensive. Metals and mining. Lost its tarnish. Goodbye. Retailing, losing the 50-day here. Don't like to see that, okay? Software, maybe it's going to lose the 50-day. It has been strong for a long time, and it's losing a little bit of leadership. Loses the 50-day, I would be cautious. Maybe it's going to bounce off the 50-day. The beautiful thing is this. We don't have to forecast. It will tell us what to do.
Thank you for watching the video. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit like. Maybe hit that subscribe button. We come up with new content nearly every day. Also, check out the videos on the right. YouTube recommends the one on the top, and the bottom one is something we thought you might enjoy. See you next time.